Julie. Today's flow is going to start from standing, so if you prefer to warm up on your mat a little bit before starting, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, go ahead and roll out your mat, and we will begin. So you're going to stand in Samastitihi. The bases of your big toe mounds are together. You're rooting down into your heels of your feet and reaching up through your spine, sending your head up towards the sky. Let's start with our hands in prayer in front of our heart. Inhale with me. Om. And we'll begin. Inhale, sweep your arms up, look up at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins, extend your spine. And then exhale, go ahead and step back, lowering down into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog, and then rolling over the toes into downward facing dog. Root down through the heels of your feet. Push into the palms of your hands and equalize your weight between your hands and your feet. And let your spine lengthen here. Exhale, we're going to prepare, look to the hands. Inhale, step your feet up to your hands, flat back on this inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pushing through your feet, come all the way up to stand, arms rise, and exhale back to Samastiti. We do it again. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe you keep your fingers on the ground. Exhale, we'll step back and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, rolling over your toes, back into downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, bend your knees, step your feet to your hands, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come all the way up to stand, arms rise overhead, look up at your thumbs. Exhale, Samastiti. Okay, let's do Surya Namaskara B. Coming into Utkatasana. Sit down low. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Look at the thumbs. Exhale, hands to the mat. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. And exhale, step back and lower down into Chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming right into Warrior One. Inhale, step your right foot forward, pivot your left foot down to the mat. Level out those hips. Inhale, arms rise, look up at those thumbs. Let's hang out here for a couple breaths. And now exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right away, coming into Warrior One on the left side. Left foot steps forward on the inhale. Level those hips. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Look up at those thumbs. We're here for just a couple breaths. Now exhale, hands down to the mat. Lower down through Chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Your heart rate's probably picking up. Down dog is your place to find your breath, to settle in, and find that ease in your breath again. After 5 breaths, bend your knees on the exhale, and inhale, hop forward to your hands. Let's try that again. Come back to down dog. So you exhale, you bend your knees, and then you send your hips up towards the sky. Let's try it. Exhale, hop forward. Whoa, I think I overshot that one. Let's try that again. All right, down dog, settling in. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, hop, and land with your flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, back into Utkatasana chair pose. And exhale, Samasthiti. Good job. Coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. I'm going to step out to the right. Our feet are pointing towards the long end of our mat. And then we're going to turn just our right foot towards the back of our mat. And exhale, reach down, grab whatever is available to you. So that might be your shin, might be your ankle, it might be your big toe. And your left arm reaches up towards the sky. And you can either look down here at your foot, or you can look up at that hand that's up towards the sky. If you want a more active pose here, you pull up against whatever you're holding on to. And after 5 breaths, push through those legs. Go through middle. And then turn that left foot. Toes pointing towards the front of our mat. We reach down, grab whatever, and extend our right hand up towards the sky. Looking up at our hand or down at our foot. Finding that extension of our spine. Nice active legs here. After 5 breaths, pushing through the legs to come up, returning to the side of our mat. And now let's go ahead and turn and rotate back to the back of our mat. Our hips are level, pointing straight ahead over that right foot. We're going to reach our left arm up towards the sky, finding that length in our spine. And then exhale. We're going to hinge forward at the hips, coming into a revolved Trikonasana. So bring your hand down to the edge of your right foot and do the inside edge or the outside edge. I've got the inside here. And you can also use a block or come up on your fingertips. And your right arm either reaches up towards the sky, or if that's not comfortable, you can keep your hand on your hip. And here you also either look up at your fingertips or look down at that foot that's below. After the 5th breath, pushing through your feet, strong active legs, come back through center and rotate around to face the front of your mat. Right arm reaches up towards the sky, finding that length in your spine. And then you reach forward. Bring that hand down beside that foot. Left arm, when you're ready, reaches up towards the sky. And you find that long spine. And a gentle rotation here. Breathing nice and easy. Strong active legs. Long spine. Go ahead and look down to your foot. Legs, you bring you up. You return to the side just briefly and then step back to the top of your mat in Samastiti. Right, inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And now go ahead and raise that right leg up in the air. Step it back. And go ahead and bring that knee down to the mat. Untuck your toes, coming into a low lunge. Interlace your fingers. And rest them on top of your thigh. And we'll go ahead and find that nice stretch in our hip flexor and our quadricep by coming a little bit more upright. So raise our arms up into the air and a nice gentle stretch here. Nice long spine. And after a couple breaths here, we're going to go ahead and bring our hands back to the mat. Tuck those toes and lift that knee up off the mat. Root into that right hand, and the left hand comes up towards the sky. We get a nice gentle twist. A little different hip opening here. Go ahead and bring your hand back down to your mat and send that left leg back. Let's go ahead and just drop our knees and our torso down to the mat. Come into Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. And then exhale, come back into down dog. Go ahead and step your right foot forward, come into that lunge here. Untuck those toes. And go ahead and interlace your fingers, resting your hand on your thigh. Finding that nice upright position and feeling into your quadricep and your hip flexor as you raise your arms up towards the sky. Breathing nice and slow and deep. And we exhale, we bring our hands down to the mat. Tuck those toes under. And lift that knee up off the mat. Go ahead and raise your right arm up to the sky. Finding that nice twist and hip opening. Long spine here. Let's go ahead and bring that right hand back down to the mat. And send your right leg back. And again, drop your knees to the mat and your torso. Inhaling, coming into Cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back into downward facing dog. And by now you're pretty warmed up. Let's have a little fun. Exhale, remember that. Sending our hips up towards the sky to hop forward. Let's do that again. Exhale, inhale, hop your feet to your hands. Flat back. Exhale, fold forward. All right, go ahead and bring your hands to the mat. And send your knees wide, keeping your feet together. Let's play around with a little mini arm balance. Okay, so first we're going to settle in, let our hips find that little nice hip opening here. Pulling in your low belly, and we're going to squat down and come into like a baby crow. So you're bringing your forearms down to the mat, hands are flat. And see if you can get those knees as high up your shoulders as possible. Lean into your hands, dome your upper back, and balance and try and pick those feet off the mat. All right. After a little bit of play there, let's come into the full-fledged crow pose. So it's the same idea, and you're going to bring your knees as high up around your shoulders as you can. They're just sort of on the outside. Your knees are squeezing in towards your shoulders, and your clavicle, your collarbones are reaching wide. They're spreading, and you're resisting the pressure of those knees coming in. Go ahead and get into place. Get everything nice and up your shoulders. Send the weight into your hands and maybe lift up one toe, maybe the other. Find your crow. Nice mushrooming of your back. And after a few breaths here, see if you can shoot those legs back, landing on your belly. I'm going to take a little rest here while I return my mic to my shirt. And come into down dog. Now let's lift our right leg up into the sky into three-legged dog, trying to keep our hips level. Breathing here. Nice long spine, nice active legs. Now we'll go ahead and stack our hips. Still straight leg. A few more breaths here, trying to keep our weight even on both hands. And toes are active. Now go ahead and bend that knee. And maybe look underneath your arm, see if you can see that foot. A few breaths here, and now we'll go ahead and do some hip circles. And do a few each way, all the way around. And now reversing. Okay, the invitation here is to go ahead and flip your dog. So you let that right leg, that foot, come all the way over onto the ground, and you flip over into a back bend on your feet and your left arm. 5 quick breaths here, and we'll go ahead and return to three-legged dog. Now I exhale, bring your knee into your chest. Sweep that leg back on the inhale. Exhale, bring your knee into the chest. Sweep it back one more time. And now, exhale, bring that knee in. And go ahead and come into flying star. So you're going to take that right leg to the outside edge of your left hand. And you reach it as far out as you can. See if you can pick that left hand up off the mat. And there's a little mini back bend here with your legs outstretched, nice and strong. Resting your weight onto your right hand. Go ahead and bring your hand down to the mat. If you want, you can do a couple push-ups here, just for fun. And then get that leg back, three-legged dog, and place it down. We'll get ready to do the other side. Left leg lifts up. Hips level at first. And now go ahead and stack your hips. Keep your leg long for just a breath or two. And now go ahead and bend that knee. Look for that foot. And from here we'll go ahead and do a couple of circles, hip circles. 3 in one direction and then 3 in the opposite direction. And with our hips nice and open, the invitation to flip your dog is right here. That left leg searches for the ground and you flip over. Breathing here. And go ahead and send that hand back to the mat, flipping back over. Lift that left leg up in the air. Just one nice breath. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Sweep it back on the inhale. Exhale, bring the knee to chest. Sweep it back. Exhale, knee to chest. Sweep it back. And now go ahead and bring that knee forward. The foot goes to the outside edge of your right hand, and you lift your right hand up into the air, coming into flying star. This is quite intense. Don't push it. And we'll go ahead and come on out of it. Bring your hand down to the mat. Do a couple push-ups here if you feel like it. Keeping that leg extended on the mat. And then go ahead and sweep that leg back into the three-legged dog. And bring it down into down dog. And we're going to go ahead and come through to seated. However works for you. And I'm going to turn around so you can see a little better. I'm not hiding behind the tree. Your legs are extended out, straight, and you're sitting up as tall as you can, rooting your sit bones into the ground, extending your spine as if you were pushing your head up into the sky. And just breathe here. Maybe roll your shoulders back. Your scapula come together. And maybe slide down your back and your breastbone reaches up. Gives you a little more height in your spine. Let's go ahead and raise our arms up in the air. Continuing that upward motion. And exhale, go ahead and reach for those toes. Now if this is too much, bend your knees. And you can also just don't fold forward, but just extend your arms out in front. And just reach your chest forward. You can find a nice opening of the hamstring just by doing that. Breathing through your nose. Finding some ease. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale here. I'm going to go ahead and bring your right leg into your hip crease, like in a half lotus position. And if that's not comfortable, you can have like a figure four. So sliding your foot a little closer to the knee. You're going to have your foot with your toes flexed back, pointing towards the knee. This is called dorsiflexion, and it'll help keep the knee joint safe. And you just lean forward like before, extending your sternum, just your breastbone, giving you length in the spine. Now if you've got the half lotus, you can lean forward over that foot. And if you've got a pretty tight lotus, you can also reach your right hand around your back and see if you can grab those toes. And breathing. letting the hip open. Inhale, halfway lift. Let's go ahead and cross our legs at the shin and then lift up. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. So remember the options you have. You have the figure 4, leaning forward, just letting that hip open. Or you can go ahead and take that foot, bring it fully into that hip crease. And if it's in your practice, you can reach around for that big toe with your left hand. Whichever version you pick, you're trying to keep your hips level and also your shoulders level, so even. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale here. And let's go ahead and cross those shins one more time. Leaning into our hands, lift our butt off the ground and come on down. Okay, let's come into a reverse tabletop. You're going to have your feet just in front of your hip bones, knees pointing up towards the sky, and bring your hands about a foot distance behind your tush. You're going to go ahead and push into your heels and the heels of your hand. Your hips rise up towards the sky. And your knees and chest move in the opposite direction to give you nice length. And you can keep your head looking forward, or if it's comfortable, you can go ahead and drop your head back. Now go ahead and lower down, spend 5 breaths. And go ahead and straighten your left leg. We're going to go ahead and step our right leg over so that the foot's on the other side of the knee. Hips again are pointing forward, and I want you to go ahead and hug that knee close in. Bring your right hand behind your back to give you height, kind of like a little outrigger or kickstand. It's a little gentle twist here. We're here for about 5 breaths. And go ahead and turn back around, unwind. I'm going to go ahead and pick up your left foot. Bend the knee, put the foot on the other side of your right leg. Your right leg straight. You're going to hug your knee with your right arm, turning to your left. Bring that left hand behind your back, acting as a kickstand, giving you some height in your spine as you enjoy this gentle twist. Just a few more breaths. And then we unwind. Let's cross our shins one more time, lift our tush off the ground. And come back into that reverse tabletop. So again, you place your hands behind your hips. Your feet are standing up. Lift those hips up into the sky. 5 more breaths. And lower down. Okay, now let's come into Gomukhasana, legs. So you're going to take your left foot and bring it outside your right hip. And your other leg is going to come on top. So your knees are lined up and your feet are outside of your hip. If this isn't comfortable, you can do what some people call double pigeon, other people call fire log. You're lining your shins, your lower leg, stacking on top of each other, and your feet are in that same dorsiflexion position. So the toes are pulled back towards your knees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back into the full Gomukhasana leg position. And this is quite a hip opener. So energetically, with your internal muscles, you're engaging your pelvis and pulling your hips into the hip socket here. Let's go ahead and take eagle arms. So bring your right arm on top of the left. You're spiraling around your hands. And from here, you're reaching your elbows away from your body, and maybe even up towards the sky with all of your arms. Your sternum follows, and yet your sit bones root down. Let's go ahead and unwind those hands, maybe do a little bit of shoulder movement. And we'll continue this shoulder opening with more of a traditional opening. So take your right hand, reach it up into the sky, and then fold it back. Left hand raises up in the sky. You're going to grab just under the elbow and let your left arm fall to the side. The weight of that left arm is giving you just this little bit of opening in that right arm, that shoulder. And your shoulder is rotating inward to keep the head of the shoulder into the shoulder socket. We'll go ahead and release the left hand. You bring that right hand down your back, and you can just leave your left hand extended out to the ground, but if you want, you can fold it behind your back and reach for those fingertips. You can also use a stick or a towel or something to help you reach the fingers a little more easily. And so here, your right shoulder is internally rotating. Your left shoulder is also internally rotating. And the palm of your left hand is facing out as you grab those fingers. Okay, let's go ahead and undo our hands. There's a couple ways you can get out of this pose with the legs. You can just switch them, or you can come up on your feet and turn yourself around like you're doing the hokey pokey. And then you notice how the stack is magically the opposite direction. You still have to adjust your feet. Find a somewhat comfortable position here. And I should have mentioned before, another option is to elevate your hips. Breathe here, just hang out. I'm going to go ahead and prepare our arms to that more traditional eagle arm. So since our left knee is on top, you're going to set up your left elbow, fitting it inside the crease of your right elbow, and wrapping your arms around each other so that the palms of the hands come together. From here, inhale, exhale, reach those elbows away from your body. And then maybe your fingertips can reach up towards the sky. Sternum follows, giving you length in your spine as you root down into your sit bones. And with the muscles of your pelvis, you stabilize your hips, pulling everything in towards center. And go ahead and unwind. Do a little shoulder rotation, shoulder shrugs. And go ahead and raise that left arm up to the sky. Fold it back. And then we'll go ahead and reach our right arm up into the sky, grabbing the elbow with the left hand and letting the weight of the right arm gently give a little bit of shoulder opening here. We're breathing. Nice and easy. And go ahead and let that right arm fall to the ground. Walk those fingertips down your back of that left hand. And then go ahead and wrap that right hand around towards the back. And the back of your hand climbs up your back and reaches for those fingertips. Or the towel or the stick or whatever it is that you're using to connect your 2 points. Breathing here, inhale, finding extension. Exhale, rooting down. Everything pulling towards midline. Let's go ahead and release. Shake those shoulders out. Okay, we're coming to the end of our practice. Well, let's go ahead and come into Navasana boat pose. So you're balancing on your sit bones. And you can hold behind the back of your knees, balancing on your sit bones. You also have the option to just extend one leg down and keep the other foot touching, toes touching. You're reaching long through the spine, trying to extend the chest. After 5 breaths, go ahead and hug it in, and then set the other toes down and extend the other leg. We're here for 5 more breaths. Again, shoulder, heads are rolling back, your scapula moving down your back, and you're reaching with your chest to find that extension in your spine. 5 breaths, hug it in. Let's see if we can do both legs at the same time. You can feel free to keep your knees bent. That makes your back happier. And 5 breaths, hug it in. Maybe put your hands down, lift your butt up. Okay, one last time. I'm going to go ahead and extend my legs fully on this one. Let's make it count. And 5. All right. Go ahead and lay down on your back. Your feet are just in front of your hips. You can probably extend your hands along the side of your body and possibly touch your heels. We're preparing for bridge pose. So you're going to push your heels into the mat. Keep your shoulders connected to the mat. And push those hips up towards the sky. And you can pull on your mat gently to give you a little bit more traction. It'll help you open up. Or you can interlace your fingers underneath your back and push your extended arms into the mat, giving you a little bit of height here. A few more breaths. Alright. Let's exhale, lower down. You're going to bring your right leg over your left knee. You're going to use the weight of that right leg to bring your knee off to the right. And if this isn't comfortable, you can keep your legs just together. So let your knees fall off to the right, finding that hip opening. And then you're going to bring your arms either straight out like a T, or you can even bend your elbows like little goalposts. Your gaze goes off in the opposite direction of your legs. Feel the stretch. You shouldn't be forcing. You should find some ease here. And go ahead and unwind, coming back to center, maybe bringing your hips back to middle. And go ahead and put your left leg over the right, and let the weight of that left leg pull everything over to the left side. Your gaze goes to the right. And you breathe here. This nice gentle twist. Everything comes back to center. Go ahead and hug those knees in. And then grab the outside edge of your feet, coming into happy baby. Your knees are coming down towards the mat. The weight of your arms will bring your knees down. You just breathe here. Hug your knees in one more time, rocking side to side. And let's go ahead and extend our legs long, coming into Shavasana. Relax your whole body. Notice how the earth supports you. Scan your body and notice any place that you're holding. Right here, right now. Just let go. And go ahead and deepen your breath. Bring your attention back to your body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. And go ahead and extend your arms up overhead as you extend your legs in the opposite direction. I'm going to hug your knees into your chest. One more time, rolling side to side. And go ahead and extend one arm out overhead. Roll onto your side here and just pause. Take a minute just to check in, scan your body. Maybe thank yourself for taking this time out for some personal care. And then go ahead and make your way up to seated. Nice, easy seated pose. Bring your hands in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra, and let's end with one Om. Inhale all together. Om. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Stay safe, keep healthy. Namaste.